Adi Parva, Book 1, Chapter 17. While this fearsome and tumultuous battle raged, the two divine beings, Nara and Narayan, entered the fight. Previously, Mount Mandara is uprooted by Ananta at Vishnu and Brahma's command and carried to the ocean, where devas and asuras together churn the waters, using Vasuki as a rope and the turtle Akupara as a foundation. The churning unleashes fire, destruction, and exhaustion before Vishnu renews the devas' strength. The Daityas and Danavas, those two great orders of asuras, seized their finest shields and weapons and rushed forward together in a great charging mass. But Vishnu, supreme among all beings, took the Amrita, the nectar of immortality, and carried it away from the lords of the Danavas, with Nara at his side. Even as confusion and tumult swept across the field, the hosts of devas received the Amrita from Vishnu's hands and drank. Yet in the midst of that drinking, a Danava named Rahu slipped among the devas in disguise and raised the Amrita to his own lips. The nectar had already reached his throat when the sun and moon, wishing well to the devas, betrayed him and revealed the deceit. Without a moment's hesitation, the illustrious one raised his Chakra, his great discus weapon, and forcefully severed Rahu's adorned head, even while the Danava was still drinking. That vast head, like the peak of a mountain, fell from the discus's stroke and shook the surface of the earth. From that moment, an eternal enmity was fixed between Rahu's severed head and the sun and moon who had exposed him. To this day, Rahu swallows them both in retribution. Then Hari set aside the incomparable woman's form he had assumed and turned upon the Danavas with fearsome weapons, shaking their ranks. Near the shore of the salt ocean, a great and supremely terrible battle broke out between the devas and the asuras. Broad, sharp spears fell in thousands. Iron javelins with keen points poured down alongside weapons of every kind. Asuras were pierced by the discus and fell streaming blood. Others went down broken by swords, lances, and maces. Heads severed by broad-bladed axes, many adorned with netting of burnished gold, fell without pause. Great asuras lay slain, their limbs smeared in blood, like mineral-streaked mountain peaks scattered across the ground. Cries of anguish arose everywhere by the thousand as the sun turned blood red above the carnage. Warriors battered one another with heavy iron clubs called parigas and with bare fists, and the clamor of that fighting seemed to reach the very sky. While this fearsome and tumultuous battle raged, the two divine beings Nara and Narayana entered the fight. Seeing Nara's divine bow drawn in the field, the illustrious Vishnu, slayer of Danavas, summoned his Sudarshana discus by thought alone. It answered. Down from the sky it came, the great Sudarshana, blazing with immense splendor, a tormentor of enemies, its rim unblunted, equal in power to fire itself, fearsome and unconquerable, blazing like a kindled flame. Achyuta, the infallible Vishnu, whose arms hold the strength of an elephant's trunk, hurled it with swift and surging force. That discus of great radiance, destroyer of enemy strongholds, fell again and again with tremendous speed, tearing apart thousands of the sons of Diti and Danu, burning and licking like a living flame. It cut down the asura hosts in swaths, flung through the sky, and hurled back across the earth, time and again. It drank blood in that battle like a pishacha, a ravenous blood-drinking spirit that haunts the field of slaughter. The asuras were not yet broken, their spirits undaunted and their strength immense. They rose into the sky by the thousands, like tumbling storm clouds, and hurled great mountains down upon the devas. Terrifying peaks bearing many trees, shaped like massed clouds in varied and vast forms, came hurtling from above. Their summits split and crumbled as they crashed against one another with a sound like thunder. The earth with all its forests shook violently on every side, struck by those falling mountains, while both armies roared fiercely and the battle grew ever more intense. Then Nara answered. He filled the pathways of the sky with great arrows, tipped with the finest gold, and split apart mountain peak after mountain peak with his fletched shafts, breaking the asuras' assault in that dreadful clash. Tormented by the devas and beholding the Sudarshana discus still blazing through the sky like a kindled fire, the great asuras could hold no longer. They plunged in defeat into the earth and into the salt ocean, and were seen no more. With the devas victorious, Mount Mandara was honored and restored with reverence to its own place. The sky and heavens rang with triumphant sound in every direction, and the rain clouds dispersed as they had come. The devas were filled with great joy. They placed the Amrita securely away under careful guard. Then, Balabhid, Indra, the slayer of the demon Bala, together with all the immortals, entrusted that treasury of Amrita to Kiriti, the diademed Arjuna, to keep and protect. This chapter matters because the devas and asuras clash in a great battle over the Amrita just recovered from the churning of the ocean. In the next chapter, the wager of Kadru and Vinata, when the divine horse Ukaishravas rises from the churned ocean, Kadru and Vinata make a wager over its color, with servitude as the stakes. The journey continues in the next chapter.